Welcome back to the Ripple Effect. Today, I am so excited. I am joined by Jerad Larkin, known as the Mile High Title Guy and one of Colorado's most trusted title resources. Jerad is a top ranked title professional, educator, connector, and social media leader, helping real estate professionals grow through title knowledge, marketing, AI, and community. Welcome, Jerad. I am so excited to have you today.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here. Thank you, Alexa.
Absolutely. So, when you first got into title insurance, what did your business look like, and what do you think people misunderstand about the brand Mile High Title Guy?
My business looked like nothing. I think for probably a lot of us listening, whether you're starting your own business or sales career, right? It's a slow trajectory, I think, for most of us, and me especially. I mean, for years it took forever. I felt like forever just pushing this like boulder up this steep mountain, and just feeling like, do I stay in this thing? Do I keep going? And thankfully, now we're almost 9 years later. I started in 2017. We're doing good, and I'm really grateful for what we have, what I've built.
So, when was the first moment you realized that combining title, education, marketing, and community, because you're so good at building community, but when would you say was the first moment that you realized that that was something bigger than a traditional sales role?
Yeah, I'd say the first moment I realized like bringing the real estate community together and really starting to make an impact wasn't till probably when we came out of COVID. And I feel like everyone was kind of
Mm.
just itching to get back together, to get in a room together, right? It was all
Mhm.
safe again. And I just remember doing this event at Mile High Spirits. We had a real estate panel. We had some amazing real estate producers up on stage, and oh my goodness, I mean, it like packed out, like 300 people showed up. And at that moment I realized, okay, we're on to something here, and this is what people are craving right now, and how do we lean more into this? So I've always, from that point on, I've tried to even lean more into it. Hey, how do we bring the real estate community together? Because at the end of the day, right, a lot of us, if we're not necessarily on a team or in a collaborative environment, sales is lonely. I think a lot of people
Mm.
can get lonely in this business, right? And then there's some tough times that we go through. So I love it, bringing the community together, whether it's through a real estate panel or just something fun like a happy hour or dodgeball or mini golf or whatever. I just kind of try things and see who shows up. But it's fun to see the community come together when they do.
Yeah, that's so cool. And you're really good at pivoting when it comes to like what to do as well, because it's not always just education. Sometimes it's like you said, dodgeball, it's happy hour, mini golf, what would we did pickleball. That was so fun. You're so good at that.
Yeah.
You've built so many strong relationships, but then also such a strong reputation through all of that. What skill do you think has been most responsible for your growth that people maybe don't talk about enough?
I'd say the skill most responsible for my growth in title sales is just, there's no secret here, just discipline and doing it over and over and over and over again. Whether it's whatever you do in sales, whether you like to cold
Mm.
call or do your pop buys or your open houses, for me it's always been classes, events for the real estate community, and just leaning into that and just continually trying things. I'd say that too, like just not being afraid to try a class, try something new, and not be afraid if nobody shows up, because
Mhm.
that happens too. That's happened to me this year. But we don't really know until we kind of test the market and just go for it.
Yeah, I love that. And I love what you said about consistency, because that's what it is. A lot of people assume that as top producers in our industries that we just must have something secret or something magical that we're doing, but really it's just the discipline and the consistency of the things that seem easy but are harder to execute on. It's harder to stay consistent with something that maybe doesn't feel like it's rewarding. Like I'm getting nothing out of this. And like you said, sometimes it takes years and all of a sudden it starts flooding.
Yeah, it does. I mean, even like quick example, yesterday, I had three different real estate agents reach out who, truthfully, I haven't talked to in a very long time. And but I know they're kind of in flow with the things that I'm doing and the emails and the classes and events. And sometimes it just takes years to like establish that relationship. So it's cool, right? Like for anyone that's listening to this, if you're in any sales career, whether it's
Mhm.
lending, title, real estate, doesn't matter. Like I think some of this stuff just takes years. It takes time, and just the belief that, if you commit to it, it's going to come back to you.
I could not agree more because it is kind of like an unwavering belief that it's just going to work out. But there are those days in between where you're like, what the hell did I agree to? What am I doing?
Totally. Totally.
Yeah, I love it. What belief about yourself do you think had to change as you became more visible in the Colorado real estate community?
I'd say a big belief that I had to change about myself in this role in title and insurance sales is just the like belief that it's a real legitimate job that I should respect and grow and nurture, because
Mm,
truthfully, early on, I mean, I think we've come a long way with the reputation of a quote unquote title rep. But when I got started 9 years ago, back 2017, I mean, it was, I feel like, a different world where, I felt like I was just bothering everyone. And I think the role of a title insurance sales rep has shifted dramatically since that time. And I think a lot of real estate professionals too have shifted their mindset to it too. Oh wow, my title rep can help me out with more than just taking me out to lunch once a year and stuff like that. And I legitimately try to find
mhm.
ways to grow my business. So that was a big one, even for me personally. I mean, there was a point, I shared this before, where about 2 years in, I was like, is this the right job for me? I don't know. I feel like I'm getting beat up every single day. The business isn't there. Nothing's really working. I'm trying everything. And thank goodness I just kept going and leaning into it. And it's cool to see where it's evolved year over year.
Oh, I agree. I think a lot of that, at least from the outside looking in, I think so much of that is you have a very go-giver mentality, whether you realize it or not. But you very much, I mean, even when I reached out to you, because we didn't really know each other, you knew Gabby, my
Yeah.
teammate, and I was
Yep.
like, all right, if you say he's cool, I guess I'll give him a try and chat with him. But then as I got to know you and I watch how you pour into people, like genuinely, how can I help you? And you don't obviously work for free, but when you show up with that kind of mentality, how can I help you? And I'll just do whatever I can. Like that, we feel that. And as humans, I think then we naturally just want to be able to give back because we feel you taking care of us. It almost softens the blow in sales because when you show up, I really don't feel like you're trying to sell me anything. But are you hoping that I use Chicago Title? Of course, you're hoping I use Chicago Title, but I never feel like you're harping use my title company ever. And I just think that's really a beautiful thing. And I think that's probably what I think has probably made you so successful because you really do just show up with like love and care and what can I do for you? And I think people feel that.
Thanks. And same for you. Go Giver, by the way, that was one of the first books I read when I got into the business. And whatever you want to call it, Go Giver, Ninja Selling, something else. I mean, it's all the same. If you put it out there and you give, right, eventually you're going to be able to ask and get back in return some of what you gave. And that's the way I've built my business.
It's so true. That's the way a lot of us, I think a lot of us bigger producers have built our business is just showing up with genuine authenticity. And it's a game changer. I think it absolutely
Uh,
helps. I do. What failure or maybe hard lesson do you think taught you the most and maybe made kind of forced you to deal with some maybe confront about you or your business? What would you say was the hardest lesson or failure that taught you that?
I'd say recently my biggest failure in terms of title insurance sales is figuring out how to continue to grow your business and scale, but also not sacrifice all the time you have. And I think it's so hard to do, right? I think all of us at some point we want to grow and we want to build this incredible business. And eventually, right, we realize it continues to eat into our time, which then can affect our time for other things that are important, right? Whether it's with family or your significant other. And that I actually had that moment last year when I just realized I was up late every single night and early every morning, and it was taking a beating on me personally as well. Not only through my relationship with my wife and with my kids, and trying to find that balance. So for me, that was a big wake up where I realized, hey, I need help. I need to systematize things. I need to hire an assistant to help me as I continue to do this business, because I think we all agree, if you get to that certain point in your career, you need help. Otherwise, I think you might lead to burnout, and we don't want to do that.
Yeah, I call it like the hostage mentality because you're a hustler, you're a high performer. I see the way you function and the way you show up, and I resonate deeply with that because I like putting in hard work and reaping the rewards of it. But man, when you start sacrificing the family, you start becoming a hostage to the business that you've built and like the accessibility, that's so tough on the mind and body. And then, like you said, the like you're not doing this for me. You do this for the kids. You do this for your wife. And so it's really hard sometimes to shift. And when you start making money and knowing that you have to delegate out and start paying people to be able to do more and to be able to take care of yourself, that's a hard shift to get into as well.
It's scary. It's scary, right? To trust someone else to perform at the level that you want to perform at because your reputation is on the line, right?
Hmm.
Making that jump. And then also too, you're already crazy busy. So you have to stop what you're doing to go and find that person and train them and then
Train.
trust them. But I know obviously you work with Gabby and she's absolutely amazing. When you find that incredible talented person, right, it makes all the difference.
Yeah, oh, it really does. And it's like worth every penny, right? Because,
Yeah.
and speaking about Gabby, it when we hired her, we were not in a financial position to really pay her the way we needed to. But I was in a position where I had the time to train her. And it was a risk I wanted to take because I knew she was good at what she did, and I knew she'd be willing to like commit to the brand and commit to the growth. And I think that's scary too, right? Is financially
Oh yeah.
I knew that we were taking a risk with the team, but I knew that it would be a risk if we didn't too. And so it's just kind of that calculated risk, like, well, here goes nothing. I have to do it.
Yeah. Well, good on you because that was an incredible hire.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I know
She's
people are always telling me
amazing.
I need a Gabby. I'm like, sorry,
She's
she's taken.
amazing. Yeah,
She,
totally.
she is. She is, but good on you too for being able to figure that out. I think as high producers, high performers, you've built a brand, your reputation. It's hard to delegate when you have to rely on somebody else to hopefully represent that brand. And it's weird on the ego too. Like I'm very controlling, so it's kind of weird for me to do that. But
Yeah,
man, once I let some of that go, it was a breath of fresh air.
agreed.
Yeah. What do you think has been what do you think have been some of the hardest boundaries for you to set as someone who is constantly networking?
Oh my goodness. Again, just boundaries are so hard to set because again, I think all of us, right? We just want to help, right? It's in our core and we want to do our best and we want to help and say yes to so many things. And I think for
Hmm.
me, a boundary, I'm still working on it, but a boundary that I struggle with is saying no, right? And
Mm.
I'm trying to be better at it. I mean, I only have so much time in the day. I can only go and do so many things. Because then again, it gets back to what is important, and what is important is being with your family. So
Mm.
I'd say setting boundaries are something that I'm continually trying to figure out and work on. Last year I did over 100 classes and events for the real estate community. And
Wow.
looking back at that, that was that was too many. That was a lot. Now,
Yeah.
did I see the result in my business of doing all that and putting the work? Yes, absolutely. But sometimes it's important to just slow down and focus on what is actually working and lean into that and then
Yeah.
say no to the other things.
Yeah, I've had to teach myself like maybe pick just three things that really work. These three things work, and I have to say no to the others. And it's hard to do sometimes when you've built the reputation on being reliable and being a yes person, and that's difficult to say no because you don't want people to take it wrong. So I can imagine that's been an interesting shift for you, but hopefully an important
Yeah.
one.
Oh yeah.
Good, good. I love that you said that. I love what you said about prioritizing the family. That was actually one of my questions for you. Like, what's something that you unapologetically prioritize? And I would imagine it's probably the family, now at least. And I didn't do that
Yeah.
early in my career.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm by no means perfect, right? I mean, there's still certain days where I'll be out a little bit later and won't be back in time for bedtime. And my for me, my weekends are sacred. Now, in my role in title
Mhm.
insurance sales, it's a blessing because title companies are closed on the weekends. So if you have an
Mhm.
important thing going on, we really can't help you till the next business day anyway. So
Mm.
my weekends are fully spent with my family, which is amazing. Am I perfect? By all means, absolutely not. And I'm still trying to figure out how do I get more time in with them, even during those weekdays as well.
But that's what it's all about, right? It's kind of the journey. It's we're working so hard for them so we can take care of them. I know how much you love your family and how much you pour into them, and it is kind of that balance because you are working so hard to give them such a beautiful life. But then I'd imagine those days when you're missing bedtime or the early mornings when you're not available, it weighs on us too because that's who
Of
we're doing
course,
it for, and then we're sacrificing all those little moments and it's like juggling that hustle, it's a lot. It's a lot to handle. But you're doing a good job though. I mean, I don't know. I mean, and we're all working on it. It's all the journey.
totally, totally agree.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Who do you think has been who do you think has had the biggest influence on you and how you lead and teach and show up for people?
The person who's had the biggest influence on me and how I lead has got to be really, I mean, it's not just one person. That's a hard one person to say. But I mean, the first huge shout out is definitely got to go out to my boss, Leanne Newbauer. I mean, and
She's
I'm not just
phenomenal.
saying that, but she's just an incredible manager. She hired me in 2017 when I was just had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know anybody. She took a chance on me, and she's always had my back. There's been some times where I've kind of pushed the envelope too far on certain things, and she's always had my back. She's always kind of led with, "Hey, go out there, break things, ask for forgiveness," and she's always backed me up, and she doesn't micromanage. So
Mm,
without a doubt, I mean, because I could not do a job where I had a manager micromanaging me and holding me accountable to all these things that annoyed me, and she just lets me and trusts me to go out and breathe and build my business. So
mm,
really huge shout out to her for just letting me sprint and run and do things and try stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that she kind of let me push the envelope on early on with even just teaching classes on marketing and video and social media. I mean, title reps weren't doing that 9 years ago. It just wasn't a thing. And I used to
mhm.
call up managing brokers and reach out to them, and they used to say, "Hey, you're not teaching a class. You get to show up and bring the breakfast." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not doing that. I guess I'll move on." Right. So it's taken time for the market to respond to this
Mhm.
whole role. But yeah, huge shout out to her. I think she definitely comes top of mind on just allowing me to do what I want.
Yeah, she's phenomenal, such a strong woman and just such a huge supporter of you. I mean, I've seen that, in the background watching, and she really does just adore you and loves watching you spread your wings and do your thing. And she's a phenomenal human being. I could not agree more. And I love what you said about being able to step into an office and teach classes that were ahead of our time. Then we didn't you knew because you were in marketing, you knew what was coming and none of us really did. So I bet that set you apart big time, because you are truly still, Gabby and I talk about it all the time, you're so ahead of your time, and what you're teaching us, we're like, whatever he says, just do it. Yeah,
I'm
like
just a
we
couple
see
steps ahead. I'm just a few steps ahead. That's it, right? And
all you need
I
to be
love it.
though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally,
Yeah.
totally.
As your business started growing, what do you think you had to stop doing to step into the next level? I know we kind of talked about this, but I'm really curious if there's like something in particular that comes to mind that you really had to stop doing so you could continue to elevate and grow.
I stopped doing networking events. I used to go to every type of networking event, real estate related, not real estate related, and that is by all
Hmm.
means no knock on these networking events in any way.
Hmm.
I just realized at one point, hey, I would rather create the event and attract the people
Hmm.
that want to show up to what I want to do and do it my way versus having it be controlled by somebody else and have them run the show.
Hmm.
So that was a big light bulb moment. I just stopped going to all the other things and creating my own events and things where people can come to that. And if you want to show up, great. And if you don't, no big deal. But we'll attract first chase and see what happens.
Interesting, because even I've seen a shift in how you've showed up that way, but that totally makes sense because it probably was very draining on your schedule and
Oh
emotionally,
yeah.
even as an extrovert, that would still exhaust me. But I can understand how it was stronger for you to host your own events and attract your people to you. So much stronger to be able to pull that together. That's awesome. What a
And
revelation.
it's kind of interesting, right? If you think about it, right? Like you as a mortgage professional, me as a title person, say we show up to a real estate event, right? And we're there for the event and the fun and the education and all that. But we're also there to connect with some other real estate
Hmm.
professionals and build relationships. But if you think about it, like we don't know even who's in that room. We don't know who to talk to. It's kind of just kind of like sheer luck on who you meet, right? So if that's your
Hmm.
intention and your goal is to go there and build your network, right? It may not necessarily be your best use of time. And again, I mean that in the most respectful way possible. But
Hmm.
just that was kind of the revelation that I had when I was going to all these events and just not seeing kind of the time put in and the output that I was looking for. It just wasn't there.
The ROI, right? It's important. You have to be mindful of that with your time because people will take time from you without asking. It's the one thing people take from you without asking. You have to be protective of it because otherwise you're going to the event and not putting the kids to bed. What are you getting out of it? And putting the kids
Agreed.
to bed is more meaningful than that. And this isn't a knock on networking because I'm a fan of networking. My theory on networking is you need to go pick three things, three networking events and go to those three. Because if you show up one time or you show up twice, you're going to be out of sight, out of mind, unless you happen to get the by chance connection that you were able to hit it off with. But that can be rare. And so I agree with you. Going to the random networking events, I think, is not a good way to spend your time. You need to be very strategic with, I go to these three and only these three, because now my face and name is out there consistently enough that people were going to recognize me, right? You're creating the relevance and the brand within the group. I agree with
Yeah.
that completely.
Yeah. But to be fair though, too, I think like if there's anyone listening to this and whatever, you're a business owner or a sales professional, I think starting out in a new career, you do have to kind of just try all those things and see what
Agreed.
works and what doesn't work. And that's what I did, right? I tried all the things and realized, all right, I hate this cold calling, not going to do that. All right, not doing pop buys anymore with my baskets from Costco. I feel like everyone is being bothered when I walk inside the office, right? So you figure out the stuff you like and don't like and kind of track it. But you have to try stuff.
Yeah, well, and I think I agree with you. You have to try stuff, especially early on, because you if you have nothing, like you said, your business was nothing when you started. How do you turn it into something? It's the trial and error. It's the showing up, figuring out what you like. I think once you hone in what you are able to, what you're attracted to, you're able to start attracting people to the same things. And then that's where, you're so good with the classes. But even in when we were in a more formal office setting, I don't remember any of our reps, but I remember getting baskets because we just liked the crackers and cheese. Like I don't know who was showing up. You didn't stick out, but you
Yes.
stuck out when you started teaching classes. Like I would not have recognized you if you were someone showing up and just dropping off a basket, but that go-giver mentality, you're showing up like that and just how can I support you and bring value to you? That's when you started really building that brand. And I, at least when we started noticing you and our team, it was like, oh, who's this guy? He's cool.
Love it.
I
Thank you.
love it. Yeah, it's so true though. I love what you're doing. You're disrupting the industry by doing this, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing, I think. If you could go back and talk to the version of you who was just getting started, what do you think you would tell him to stop worrying about?
If I could go back to the version of me just getting started, it would
Hmm.
be go all in. Go all in, commit, and just really focus on growing the business because I do truly believe for the first couple of years I was kind of like one foot in, one foot out. Is this really the
Mm-hmm.
direction I want to go? This is a lot of work. Oh my goodness, I'm not making any money for the amount of work I'm doing. This is hard, right? And I'd say to the beginning version of myself, go all in, lean into it. Yes, it's hard, but it's going to turn into something beautiful. It's going to take time, but it's going to all work out.
Oh, I love that. And I think that's such a good testament of where your headspace was at because when you're in limbo like that, even if we didn't sense it, we knew we may have sensed something was off, like the lack of commitment to the career or the growth. But once you
Yes,
put both feet in and you're ready to just dive in and you're going, like we feel it. It feels more like a team and oh, we're in this together. Really interesting headspace, but isn't that the truth? Because even early on in my career, it's like, I don't know that I want to do sales. I don't know that I want to do loans. And I didn't produce as well when I first got licensed. But when I made
totally.
that commitment, it was a game changer. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're not hiding behind a computer. Let's go.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's so true. I sometimes I like hiding behind the computer. It's quieter.
I get it. I get it. That's funny.
You know how it is. Being in front of people is exhausting, but it's like it's also where I
Yes.
thrive. I love people so much, but it's
Yeah.
also it drains me and I don't like to show up. I had an old boss tell me this and I'll never forget it. And as much of a stinker as he was at times, he was also had really great advice for me. And he told me, don't give the kids your leftovers and you want to give them the full meal. And that was kind of the analogy is I'm showing up all day long and I'm giving everybody the full meal, but then my kids just get like scraps and the leftovers and my husband, like how unfair is that? And I try to take that into every day. So sometimes I need behind the computer days as boring as that is.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. It was really helpful for me. So hopefully anyone listening that helps them. So if anyone wants to connect with you and you just hear more from you or connect with you at Chicago Title, send business your way, where can they find you?
Probably easiest way is most people spell my name wrong. Jerad Larkin, Jerad, Jerad. But just look up Mile High Title Guy, Google, Instagram. You'll find me. If you want to learn more, if you want to get kind of in sync with all the classes and events that I'm doing throughout Colorado, or if you're just listening and want to pick up maybe some marketing ideas for your business, or some tools and resources, subscribe to my weekly email newsletter. Promise I won't spam you. It's ideally nothing but value. And if you have any questions on any of this, please reach out to me. Would love to talk to you.
Oh, I love it, Jared. Thank you so much for being here today. This was such a catch up with you.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Jared. This was such a joy to have you. You are phenomenal and so good at what you do. And thank you for anyone who joined. Please like and subscribe below if you'd like to hear more. Don't hesitate to reach out to Jared if you have any questions. He is absolutely wonderful.